Israel Adesanya shared his take on Alex Pereira's vicious knockout against Sean Strickland at UFC 276. The former two-division Glory kickboxing champion landed his signature left hook to stop Strickland in his tracks. However, it wasn't impressive enough in the eyes of the UFC middleweight champion.
You mentioned Alex Pereira. I interviewed him right after your fight. He said he wasn't impressed by your performance. Were you impressed by his?
Nah, not really. It's just Sean Strickland's parry. Oh, that's easy to go. Boom, left hook. And yeah, I wasn't impressed. I wasn't really impressed by my performance because of the expectations I put on myself. But it was still a masterclass.
Conor McGregor recently made a mockery of Khabib Nurmagomedov's induction to the UFC Hall of Fame. Nurmagomedov was recently inducted into the UFC Hall of Fame class of 2022 for his incredible fighting career. McGregor posted a screenshot of the Hall of Fame ceremony. In it, he can be seen walking on the screen promoting his proper 12 Irish whiskey with Nurmagomedov's face in the background. Jiri recently opened up on why his title reign will be different than that of Jan Blachowicz and Glover Teixeira. Blachowicz won the 205 pounds title after he beat Dominic Reyes for the vacant belt at UFC 253. He defended it next against Israel Adesanya. However, Blachowicz lost his next fight against Glover Teixeira at UFC 267. Teixeira, meanwhile, lost the title to Jiri at UFC 275 in his first title defense.
Yeah, that's because I'm different than the Glover or Jan, because I'm evolving all the time. After every fight, I'm searching for my bad habits, for my mistakes from the fight, and I'm doing from these things my strong sides. Yeah, and I will work a lot on these bad habits from the last fight again.
Luke Rockhold recently discussed why Robert Whittaker is a tougher fight for him than Israel Adesanya. Rockhold is set to make a comeback to the UFC. The former middleweight king will clash with Paulo Costa at UFC 278 next month. Once considered one of the best middleweights on the planet, he is determined to prove a point upon his return.
For me, it's because he's a lot easier. He's a lengthier body. He's easier to control. He's not as much of a spark plug. Whittaker's got better wrestling defense. He's harder to track down around the cage. He springs in and out. I don't know. I think he seems, on paper, he seems a little bit tougher for me.
Israel Adesanya's coach Eugene Behrman believes Sean Strickland missed out on a massive opportunity at UFC 276. Strickland took on Alex Pereira in an unofficial #1 contender fight, with the winner fighting Adesanya next for the middleweight title. Unfortunately for Strickland, Pereira landed a vicious left hook and followed with a straight right to get the first-round KO. The American succeeded in getting Adesanya's attention during the pre-fight press conference, but ultimately couldn't get the win to secure a title shot.
You know, Sean Strickland fumbled the bag. Like, yeah, I don't know. Like, come on, man. Like, that I thought was the fight, but he fumbled the bag. Like, I don't want to talk too much on their fight, like, when it went wrong. But look, like, did he think he wasn't fighting one of the best strikers in the world that can take you out if you stand in front of him? Did he, like, your arrogance can get you in trouble, like.
UFC light heavyweight champion Jiri Prochazka was right next to Dustin Poirier when the Diamond got into a heated altercation with Michael Chandler at UFC 276. Jiri recently provided details about the spat between Poirier and Chandler. According to Prochazka, he saw Poirier get aggressive and start trash-talking with Chandler, who returned the favor.
I was closest to as I can next to Dustin, and he started to be aggressive, to talk some trash talks and all this stuff for the Michael. And they start to talk together. Nothing. What was surprised for me, but I saved them.
Oh yeah, so you were the one that kind of held him back, right?
Yeah, I just watched that, and there was a guys from UFC. They tried to fix it.
Pedro Munoz is coming in with receipts for anyone who is doubting the validity of his eye injury. Sean O'Malley tested his skills against Munoz on Saturday, but the latter party received a serious eye injury that left fans doubting if it was legitimate or not. Via his personal Instagram, the young Punisher posted his post-UFC 276 medical report to prove them wrong. UFC bantamweight champion Aljamain Sterling has expressed his support for Israel Adesanya after his fight against Jared Cannonier at Saturday's UFC 276 event. Adesanya beat Cannonier via unanimous decision in a largely uneventful fight. Certain sections of the MMA community criticized Adesanya for being boring and not pursuing a finish against Cannonier.
You're not going to be able to go out there and have those barn burners every single time. That's just my personal opinion. And you guys got to understand, it is a world title fight. There's big consequences. It's like, why even train for weeks and weeks and weeks if you guys just want us to go out there and just slang and bang and not use our fight IQ that we worked on the entire weeks, I should say, leading up to the fight.
The UFC lightweight division continues to heat up after former champion Charles Oliveira was forced to vacate the belt after his win at UFC 274 against Dustin. There is a new potential challenge in store for him.
So everybody's talking about this fight right now, and everybody knows that I was talking about Conor to make money, right? But okay, if it has to be Islam in Abu Dhabi, it's all good, just pay me as much as I want. And it doesn't matter if it's going to be Abu Dhabi or even on the streets. I don't care where we're going to fight, but has a price for that.
Michael Bisping accuses Israel Adesanya of letting down fans, paying 4 very expensive tickets.
Of course, the main event, Israel Adesanya showed once again his technical brilliance. Problem is, that was never in question. People always knew he was technically fantastic and, you know, without flaw. What I wanted to see was a little more urgency, a little more sense of, you know, a willingness to entertain the 20,000 people that have paid for very expensive tickets. Sometimes you got to do that. However,
yeah, Carl, don't worry about it. We got this tasty, we got tasty, and we got tastiness. That's a tasty timepiece. Yeah, what are them blue songs called, mate? Sapphires. We got the sapphires in the building. Yeah. So we got these. Oh, it's actually a real nice watch. I mean, look, it would have been tonight. I swear to God, if they come back to me a bit more with a poison in the eye, we probably would have rocked into the gap and just scooped that up. I'm into it, and them blue yolks are tasty, yeah. We want the sardines, yeah. Call the cats when you see Mac. That's a nice out as well, that shop.